when I have the spare time, and also I think I make content bigger than it has to be in my head. I think, yeah, it's a lot of being in my head because sometimes I'm like, oh, that's a great thing to talk about when I'm dealing with it. I'm like, I'm going to make this video. And then I'm like, okay, well, oh, maybe I should wait till I get my hair done, or maybe I should wait until I get the new mic. So I always come up with excuses, which is not good. So yeah, I think me being in my head and then me also being like the active person in my business. So.
Welcome to the Side Hustler Podcast, the podcast for women building their dreams while balancing work, family, and all the things. I'm your host, Carly LeBlanc, a wife, mom, marketer, and your side hustling friend here to teach you how to grow a brand that works for you and not the other way around. Whether you're a side hustling pro or just starting out, this is your safe place for real talk, actionable strategies, and the encouragement you need to keep going. We're here to help you make progress and not perfection. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's build your dream one step at a time. Hello, and welcome back to the Side Hustler Podcast. I'm your host, Carly LeBlanc, and I'm so excited to have you here on today's episode because today's episode is actually a very extra special episode because we're bringing back a familiar face, or should I say a familiar voice, my friend and my business attorney, Elle. If you've been rocking with the Side Hustler Podcast from the very beginning, then you might remember Elle from one of our very first episodes where she dropped all kinds of gems relating trademarks and business formations. And she's also the reason why this very podcast is officially trademarked. Hopefully, by the time you're hearing this, it'll be official. But it's in the works, so hopefully it'll be official. But Elle is not just a powerhouse trademark attorney. She's also a bar exam coach and an all-around just amazing human being. She's the person that I call when I need legal clarity for my business. And now I get to return the favor by helping her level up her social media strategy so more people like you can find out how phenomenal she actually is, okay? So in this episode, we're going to be diving in on how to make your Instagram profile do the heavy lifting for your business. We're also going to talk about the content that Elle should start posting as soon as possible to start bringing in her dream clients, the biggest mindset block that is keeping her from showing up consistently, and how to work smarter and not harder when it comes to creating and scheduling content. So if you've been feeling stuck on how to show up online in ways that feel strategic and doable and flexible to your everyday schedule, then you're going to get so many amazing gems from this episode. So let's get into it. Before we dive into today's episode, I have something special for all of my side hustlers out there. Are you building a business while working a 9-to-5 and you're tired of wasting time on marketing strategies that don't actually move the needle? Then you're going to want to get plugged into my weekly newsletter. Every single week, I'm giving you the real behind the scenes scoop on what's actually working in marketing and business. No fluff, no gatekeeping, just real strategies, insights I'm testing in my own business, and practical tips that you can apply right away. If you want to work smarter and not harder and finally start seeing momentum, then head over to cdcreativecoagency.com/newsletter and get locked in. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Alrighty. Well, hello, Elle, and welcome back to the Side Hustler Podcast.
Thank you so much, Carly. As always, it's a pleasure to be here.
Yes. And for those of you who do not know who Elle is actually the trademark attorney that helped me to trademark my podcast, but she's also been a really good friend of mine. I always call her whenever I need some type of legal advice about my business. And so if you have been listening to the podcast since the beginning, she was actually on here at the beginning. I want to say probably like the first 6 episodes or so, where she was actually giving a lot of insight about trademarking. And so I'm super excited to have you here in the audit chair because we're going to be diving into your socials and really trying to come up with a strategy to maximize your visibility on social media.
Thank you so much. And again, it's really exciting to be here. I take notes when I listen to the Side Hustler podcast, especially because you tap into so many things that are like practical, like just setting things out in a way that I think actually if I do this, and taking notes is one thing. I've been a bad student in that I haven't fully taken action, but that's why I'm here in the hot seat today. But yes, I'm very excited to do this with you. So thank you again for having me.
Yes, yes. And so for the people that are listening that don't know who you are, don't know where to find you, give us a brief introduction of who Elle is and where can we find you on socials.
Awesome. So my name is El, short for El-Elyon, and I'm a trademark attorney, a bar exam coach. So all things law, really. Just had to narrow down to business and trademarking, and also teaching people how to pass the bar. They kind of overlap. So I really enjoy doing both. And if you want to find me, I'm at El-Elyon-esque, which is ELELYONESQ on all platforms. And then my bar exam coaching is law tutorials, like tutorials, but law and then tutorials. So
I love that.
yeah, that's the handle. Thank
I love
you.
that. That's so cute. I don't think I knew that, but I love that. That's so catchy.
Thank you. My sister actually came up with it when she was the one telling me, you need to start teaching people. And I said, I don't have a name. I don't have a thing. I don't. And then she was like, law tutorials. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. So,
That
yeah.
is so clutch. Kudos to your sister. Did you get it trademarked?
In the UK, yes. But
Period.
because now I'm expanding to the US, yeah, it's on the
Yeah.
way.
Period. No, that's amazing. And so, if you are listening and you want to follow along with our audit, by the time this airs, hopefully Elle will start implementing some of these strategies. So, if you're listening and you hear things that we talk about and you don't see it on the feed, then slide in Elle's DM and be like, "Girl, what
Mhm.
happened to hold her accountable?" Okay.
Please do.
So I want to start off by really honing in and figuring out what your goals are for social. So if you could see yourself in the next 6 to 12 months, what do you see yourself being known for? What do you see yourself using socials for in the aspect of your business?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think probably like educating people.
Mhm.
That is like the thing that I love the most, honestly. Just teaching what I know in ways that I can break down, easy to understand. I want to be known for being the person who's not just helping people trademark their brands or pass the exam, but actually educating people with real life things that they may not know. So I think that's like
Mhm.
the core thing for me. Otherwise, I haven't been a huge social media person, even in my
Yeah.
personal life. So that gives me like why I should be doing it, why I need to be showing up. Because if someone can learn something from me that I know, then that's all I need. So,
Yes, yes, no, that's really good. And
mhm.
I honestly think that even when with me working with you, I feel like you had so much education and things that I didn't even know from even just our discovery call. And so we'll jump into that later, but I think that that is
Mhm.
a solid purpose. And
Mhm.
so with that, on the other hand, what do you feel like is your biggest challenge or pain point that's holding you back from actually living out that vision that you have for your brand?
Yeah, I think more of just organizing myself,
Mhm.
getting the time. I spend a lot of time in the business doing the things, whether it's a trademark office action, some of them could be like 27 pages long, reading cases or marking essays. I spend a lot of time doing the things. So when I have the spare time, and also I think I make content bigger than it has to be in my head. I think, yeah, it's a lot of being in my head because sometimes I'm like, oh, that's a great thing to talk about when I'm dealing with it. I'm like, I'm going to make this video. And then I'm like, okay, well, oh, maybe I should wait till I get my hair done, or maybe I should
Mhm.
wait until I get the new mic. So I always come up with excuses, which is not good. So yeah, I think me being in my head and then me also being like the active person in my business. So
Yeah. No, that is 100% accurate because I honestly I find myself oftentimes like in that same place where I'm like, oh, my hair's not done, or oh, like I really need to go get my nails done. I don't know why my nails is a thing. Like if my nails are not done, I'm like, I would much rather not be on camera. It's like no one is paying attention to your
right.
nails.
I
Like
can't even see your nails right now.
yes, exactly, exactly. But for some reason, like I've always been that type of person. And so I can
Mhm.
definitely attest to that. Even with me, being a content creator and this is what I do, like, I still have
Mm.
those same struggles. Like even with the
Okay.
podcast, I'm like, no one is even looking at the video. Why does it matter if your hair's not done, or if you don't have eyelashes on. Like, it's just, so I
Yeah.
get it. I totally get it.
I love that.
So I want to first take a dive into your page, and I break up this audit into two parts. So we talk about the first part. We'll talk about your brand and like your strategy of what your brand looks like when someone first lands on your page. So this is like your name, your bio, your profile picture, highlights, all of those things. And
Mm-hmm.
then we'll move to the second part, which will be all about content creation, content strategy, and things of that sort. And so the
Okay.
way that I like to break it up is I like to talk about the things that you're doing really well on socials. And then after that, we'll talk about growth in areas of improvement. Okay.
Okay. Love it.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is the things that you're doing really well on your page right now. So first of all, I love the fact that and your name. So when I'm talking about your name and username, just for people that are listening to, the username is your @ name, but then your name is like the bolded part that's on the top of your page whenever someone lands there. So
Right.
your @ name or your username is fully optimized. It aligns with your brand. It is the same as your website. It's not like, your website is law with L and your name is, something else. So everything is cohesive. It goes, it flows, it makes sense. So I love that. And then I also love when you land on your page, your name, talking about the bolded part. It not only has your name, so someone knows who they're addressing whenever they're sending you a DM or whenever they are needing to send you an email. We don't have to figure out, well, what is this person's name? You
Right.
have your actual name on there, but then also you are utilizing keywords that your potential client will use to search for services that you do, which is something that a lot of people don't typically do. And so trademark attorney is a keyword that if somebody's looking for a trademark attorney, they're going to type in the search engine trademark attorney. So you're optimizing your page to be able to pop up whenever someone is using that keyword. So that is great, great job. The other thing I want to talk about is your bio. So I really, really love how your bio says, I protect your $1 million ideas from copycats. I think that's brilliant. I feel like sometimes people, when they have their bios, they are always trying to put all of these fluffy words to sound very smart and philosophical. And it's like, we still don't know what you do. Like, you just have all of these like words and
Right.
jargon. And I'm still like, girl, what do you do?
Mm-hmm.
And so when I'm reading that as a person that's not in your industry, I can easily understand what services you do. And so
Mm-hmm.
I love that you put that. I love that you also use intellectual property in your bio. That's another keyword for people that are searching things. So I think that you're doing really well with it. And then also you have that you are award-winning attorney, period, period, period,
Yeah.
and a bar exam coach. So I love that you also talk about, like, you have in there exactly like your title, what you are known for, but also what you want people to know you as.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have your location in there, stellar. And then you also have your link in bio, which obviously these sound like, oh, well, duh, but these are not always just duh moments. Like,
Right.
sometimes people
Okay.
do struggle with these. So I think that it's super easy to read, super easy to understand. And I really, really love how clear, how concise it is. It's not a lot of fluffy stuff in there. And so I think that you're doing really well there. I also love that you are utilizing highlights on your page, and then you have the highlight covers that also go along with your brand colors. So I think that that is really good. And then you're also utilizing some pinned posts. And so we'll talk about the content, but I love that you are absolutely using all of the features that I always tell people to use whenever
Okay.
it comes to social media. So I think you are doing amazing, my friend.
Oh wow, thank you. I'm just like, oh my goodness. And I'm glad this is where I'm at now because there was a time where I used to have my name in like fancy writing that's like unsearchable characters. My bio
Exactly.
was non-existent. So I have come a long way. So I'm glad this is where I'm at. It stayed the same for like
Yes.
a year or so because I don't know what else to do with it. So I'm glad at least
Yeah.
this is good. So thank you.
No, I think you're doing great. I think that that's great. Have you ever found yourself stuck on what to post or struggling to stay consistent on social media? I've been there, and that's exactly why I created this free guide called 30 Days of Done For You Social Media Prompts for Personal Brands. This guide is loaded with prompts to get your gears turning so you can have a gallery of content to create for your brand and never stress about what to post again. And you can grab it right now at cdcreativecoagency.com/content and start creating content that connects without the stress. So let's talk about some areas of improvement for your social media page. So the first thing that I wanted to bring to your attention is that after you have mentioned London slash New York, you don't have an actual call to action. And when I say call to action,
Mhm.
you want to let someone know what is the next step that you want them to take. So either click this link to book a call or schedule a call or, something of that sort. So they
Mhm.
know exactly what you want them to do next.
Okay.
I think that will allow people to, because sometimes when you are on people's pages, if we don't tell people what we want them to do, they won't take an action. And so it sounds kind of salesy having it all over the page, but that's the whole point of
Mhm.
marketing your page on socials, is that we want people to come in so we can make that sell. So we
Yeah.
have to invite them to do that thing.
Yeah.
So if you add just like a quick, and I know that sometimes the characters are a little bit sticky because you only get like 150 characters to where you can
Mhm.
have in your bio. And so you may have to play with it with the emojis and like, move stuff around. But if you just add it like right below, or also what you can do is you could also move your location to to your name to kind of like alleviate some of the characters. Because I think in your name, which is the bolded part, you have about 60 characters. And
Okay.
then in the bio, you have 150 characters. So if you maybe move your location to your name part, and then that will free up some characters in your bio to where you can actually put the call to action there.
Mhm.
I think that that's a way you can kind of work around it.
Okay. I like that.
As far and then for the profile picture. So I love the profile picture. However, I don't feel like it absolutely captivates your brand in totality. Like
Okay.
I would feel like for a profile picture, I see that you have what is that thing called? I don't even know what it's called. But
The scales of
yes, okay.
justice. Yeah.
Yes. So you can see it, but you can barely see it. Only way I
Okay.
can like know what it is if I actually
Mm.
click on the picture. And so
Okay.
if you have like a like either a headshot or like a clear photo with you holding the props, I think that that would be better suited for your page.
Okay.
And then let's talk about your highlights. So you are using the highlights. However, some of the highlights are a little bit outdated. I think if I click on the one that has the star, why are you laughing?
No, I'm laughing because they are very outdated and I don't
Okay.
even remember what's in some of them. This is when I was using Instagram as a personal page. So then as
Okay.
soon as you said highlights, I'm like, oh, what's in them damn highlights? Yeah, so please continue.
That
I'm
is
taking all the notes.
hilarious. I said, why are you laughing? Okay, yes. Yes, that is absolutely correct, Elle. Okay. So you do have highlights, but they are a little, I think your oldest one goes back to 2018. And so
Mm,
if you could go through your highlights and really kind of clean them up to where it's the highlights are cohesive to your brands. Some ideas that you could use is like either doing like an about me highlight, or you could do like a frequently asked questions highlight, or
mhm,
even just like showcasing some of your clients' trademarks that got approved. I know that that's something that you share often
mhm,
on your stories. So if you add that as a highlight, I think that those would be a really good way to put that content and bookmark the content that you share on your stories. But
mhm,
also, it is utilizing that space as a place where your potential clients can get to know you, can get to know your services, can
right,
really see the work that you're doing with clients. But then also, it's like a resource. So if someone lands there on the frequently asked questions, if they're trying to understand like the difference between, I know that one of my questions was like, what's the difference between a trademark and a copyright? And so
right,
I think that that would be a good place for you to kind of like answer those frequently asked questions that you find yourself often getting either on discovery calls or even
mhm,
just like when in passing, or questions that
yeah,
people often ask you all the time. Just using that space as like a resource for potential clients. And then the last thing that I want to hit on is, I know that I found out that you actually help with copyrights in one of our calls, but you don't have it mentioned anywhere on your page. Is that because you are trying to stray away from copywriting, or like,
mm. I think it's because I wanted to find something that was like a core offering and
okay,
then present everything else that I do, like the LLCs and business filings and
I see.
operating agreements, as like the other offerings. It doesn't have to be that way. I can do trademark and copyright, and I do both. But I haven't even given it any thought. I just thought most people are looking for trademark attorneys, and most trademark attorneys do copyright. So I kind of just put them together. I don't know if that's obvious to like people not in law. So maybe it's something I need to add in, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say that you could possibly add that to your name, where instead of it just saying trademark attorney, you could do trademark and copyright attorney. Because like for me, I honestly didn't know that if you do one, most of the time you do the other. And so that goes back to where like sometimes when we're in our industry, we think it's like second nature. But to someone that's not in our industry, it's like, no, I didn't know. And so if that's something that you are also, wanting to capitalize on or bring awareness to in your brand, I would include that in your name. And when I'm talking about your name, I'm talking about the bolded part. So that way you can also, people that are looking for, you can also optimize people that are searching for copyright attorneys as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So do you have any questions about the social media bio and profile optimization before we move over to content?
Yeah. With I think it was the highlights. Would you say the way I know I just have these weird? I have the covers, but I have these weird little icons. Should those icons be text instead of like the? I don't remember what they are. They're just
So you're talking about like under the picture, under the bubble.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So I will put words. So exactly what the highlight is. Make sure that you title that highlight what it is. So I think a couple of examples I gave was like about me or FAQs or client trademarks. You absolutely want to label them. So that way people know what they're clicking on and it's not like a guessing game, like hide and seek type situation.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah, that's it for now. You answered more questions as you were speaking. So
okay. Okay, awesome. Y'all already know I'm all about working smarter and not harder, especially when it comes to marketing your brand. And if you're still relying only on social media to reach your audience, we need to fix that immediately. Social media is cute, but let's be real. The algorithm is unpredictable and your content is probably only reaching a small percentage of your followers. That's why I swear by email marketing, because when I send an email, I know 100% of my subscribers are getting my messages. And the best part, Flowdesk makes it ridiculously easy. You can send beautiful on-brand emails, automate your sequences, and even create landing pages without needing to be tech savvy. And because you're listening, I got you a deal. Use my code SIDEHUSTLE at checkout and you'll get 50% off your Flowdesk subscription for the next 12 months. So if you're ready to stop relying on algorithms and start building a email list that actually converts, try Flowdesk for free. And don't forget to use the code SIDEHUSTLE at checkout for that exclusive 50% off. So let's get into your content. So I absolutely love, like I said from the jump, that you are utilizing pin posts. I think that that's one of the things that a lot of people don't utilize as often. And we'll kind of get into it, but I want to make sure that you're utilizing your pin post in a way that's working for you behind the scenes, 2 a.m., 5 a.m. in the morning when people are just like, up looking for stuff like we do at 5 a.m. So we'll get into that. But some of the things that I really love is that there's a diverse type of content on your page. So you have a mixture of talking heads on there. You have the carousel where you're talking about the BOI reports. You have flyers of your collaborations on there. You had a couple of like trending audio type of content. So I love the fact that you are mixing and matching different types of content. A lot of people, sometimes they just post quotes and we don't see their face. And then you have people that, all they do is talking heads and, sometimes their videos are extremely long. So I love the fact that you're like mixing and matching and really just giving different mixtures of content. Some of the areas of improvement that I would say is one, the consistency.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew that one was coming for sure.
Yes.
I was like, when was my last post even? I think the last post
exactly
only because I was speaking somewhere. If not, there would have been no last post.
No, let's see. So your last, well, no, because it's already almost the 29th again. So your last post was on April 29th, and right now it's May 27th. So almost a
Right.
month ago.
Okay.
I don't count the flyer. I don't count the flyer because the flyer is cheating. Okay,
Yeah.
but as far as your content goes, if you could at least stick to, even just committing to like 2 to 3 times a week, and it doesn't have to be anything drawn out. So what I like to tell people that are, trying to get their rhythm and their groove of content creation is if you could just start with B-rolls, that's totally fine. So when I'm talking
Mhm.
about B-rolls, maybe that's just you popping up your camera while you are looking through, different documents that, obviously are not like privacy type
Yeah.
things. But, when you're like looking through documents or you're typing on your computer or things of that sort, like just getting like clips of you actually working that you could repurpose later on, like you have one of these where you have like the overlay text. I think that would be perfect. So you can use it in the context of like educational content, where maybe you're like, okay, you have a clip of you typing on a computer and the overlay text says the difference between a copyright and trademark. Copyright is this, trademark is this. If you need help getting a copyright or trademark, click the link in my bio to schedule a call. Simple. Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be anything drawn out. It doesn't have to always be talking head content.
Mhm.
Um, I just like to tell my clients that, are always like, oh, I don't have time to shoot content. Like, yes, you do. You have time to do it. All you
Yeah.
have to do is just prop up your phone while you're working and just, put a little timer on there where you're just like in the zone working. And it could just be like a 15-second clip of you doing whatever you
Mhm.
do, during the day. So I would love to see you showing up at least 2 to 3 times a week, just so that way people can start to get a cadence of seeing your content.
Yeah.
But also because when you have potential clients that land on your page, they go to your page for validation. And so
Mhm.
when they are visiting your page, you want to make sure that the content that you're posting shows them that you are the obvious choice for them to select for, the services that you offer.
Right.
And so if we aren't doing our part by keeping it updated and, making it a warm, welcome place where they can find the resources or answers to their question, then we're already like a couple steps behind from our
Yeah.
competitors.
Mhm.
So yeah, I would say if you can commit to just capturing B-rolls, and maybe another thing you could do is if you just set aside a day, maybe it's a day that's not as crazy, and you just like set a goal of like getting 15 different clips of you doing stuff during the day. Maybe it's you
Mhm.
making coffee or making tea, maybe it's you writing in a notebook, maybe it's you typing on a computer, and you just get 15 like 10 to 15-second clips. That way you can start building your content library, and then once you have time to go back and edit and schedule them, you'll already have the video content that you've already captured. And if
Right.
you do that one time a month, then that gives you, a plethora of content.
Yeah. That's true. That is very true. Not even once a week, once a month, and I know I could do more. I know
Mhm.
I definitely could.
Yeah.
Um. Okay.
And if you need help with coming up with like different shot lists, another thing that I like to do is like I like to go on Chat GPT and tell, Chat GPT, help me come up with a shot list. I'm at work or I'm working at a co-working space today, and I want
Mhm.
to get, B-roll content that I can repurpose throughout the month for my social media content. Can you help me come up with a shot list of, different clips to capture? And it's really good at, once Chat GPT knows what you do and, all the things, it's
Yeah.
really good by coming up with a really good shot list to where all you have to do is just go down the list and just capture exactly what you need
Mm.
on that list.
That's a good idea. I've never thought to do that before, so that's really clever. I'll
Yes.
do that. Yeah, and it does know me very well now, which is
Mhm.
cool. But sometimes it's like, whoa, like
Yeah.
you literally know me so well.
It's so
Yeah,
mind blowing. AI is so mind blowing. Like I feel like
honestly.
I've been using AI for a long time, but I feel like I'm always impressed by all of the new things that it can do.
Yeah.
And so I definitely utilize it to my advantage when it comes to content creation for Instagram content, email
Mm,
marketing, emails, podcast outlines, like different things.
yeah.
So I would definitely say use it as a tool to work smarter and not harder for you. Think of it as
Mm,
like your content creation assistant.
right.
And
Yeah.
so definitely utilizing that to come up with a shot list is going to take off all of the daunting like brainstorming, like what do I need to be
Yeah.
capturing type of thing.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think that that'll be a good place to start. And then you'll find yourself in a place where you'll have like tons of content. It'll just be easy for you to like, push stuff out consistently. It can even help you with coming up with the overlay text that you want to put on, those clips that you capture. So you can ask it to do that.
Yeah.
If you have an idea like, hey, I want to talk something about something about the bar exam and how, people can prepare. Like ChatGPT can also come up with the ideas that you put on that clip to also
Mhm.
talk about those services as well.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. I love it. Yay.
So, in addition to creating that content, I do want you to also remember that on all of your video content, carousel content, you always want to make sure that you include a call to action. So, that's going back to what I was saying, that people always need to be told what to do. So,
Mhm.
they'll watch your video, they'll see your carousel post, and then what happens after that? So, if you want to keep a same cadence or consistency with the call to action that you use throughout your content, maybe that's click the link in my bio to book a call, or comment this word to get the link to book a call. Either way, you want to make sure that you're always including a call to action either in your captions or on the actual video content or on the actual carousel post, so that way you're telling people what action you want them to take next.
Okay.
Let's see. And then also another thing that I would love to see is some different content ideas. Because I know that we are talking about content like B-rolls, but we
Mhm.
would also like to see from a client perspective, like different client testimonials or client
Mhm.
stories. So maybe you're, telling a story about someone that came to you. Like let's use me as an example. I love to use myself as an example, but this is Carly. She came to me because she has this podcast that she's wanted to get her trademark for. She wasn't familiar with the trademarking process. So I walked her through, the trademarks. I did a deep dive into the trademark that she's wanted to attain. And I was able to see that boom, boom, boom. This one is this one
Mm.
is this one is that. And then after that, we submitted the document for her trademark. It's going to take about, 6 to 8 months. And then here's her trademark, and she has her trademark and she's so excited and all the things. And if you want to work with me to get your trademark or to help you assist with your trademarking process, then click the link in my bio to schedule a call. And so I think that storytelling aspect is something that people love to see because one, people are nosy, but two, like people want to be able to see like what the process is of
True.
working with you.
Mm.
Because we have websites, but a lot of people don't read. So it's
Yeah.
easier for people to just look on, Instagram and, click on one of your videos where you're bringing them through the process of working with you. And it's like, oh, she does this. Oh, she
Yeah.
knows that. So I think that that's some good content that we would definitely love to see
Mm.
from a consumer perspective, me as a consumer, right?
Yeah. I
But
love it.
also like
Mhm.
behind the scenes. So maybe if you're like taking us, on a behind the scenes of like a day in the life of
Mm.
what it's like, with you being you. Another reason why, because people are nosy. I'm nosy.
Yeah.
I say people are nosy. I'm
Oh,
nosy. Okay. Like we want to see what does it look like to be a trademark attorney? Like what do
right.
you do? You know what I'm saying? You're
Yeah.
in the UK. Like you have clients that are here in the US. What does that look like? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And so I think that if you would be able to like, maybe one day where you're just capturing clips of you going through your day and you just,
Mm.
put it all together and tell a story. I think that that would be really good. And then I think you also do a really good job with the educational content where you're doing the talking head content. I don't
Mm.
feel like that's a struggle for you or a pain point for
No.
you. Yeah, I think you do
Yeah.
really well with that.
I have. Yeah. I think that's the one. That's like my almost my go-to.
Mm,
And sometimes I've tried B-roll, and I have tons of B-roll. Especially, I travel so much. I don't always like. I forget. I take the videos, but I never repost them. And
mm-hmm.
so I have so much B-roll that I could use of me working at the laptop. Sometimes there's one I have, which was turning out so great, and I just start laughing because I just find it so funny. Like this camera's like looking at me. But I think if I just, got used to it and didn't find it so like awkward, I could
Yeah.
do that, And like
Yeah.
you've given me a whole new bucket idea with the storytelling, with client testimonials. There's so much that goes on, even in the journey of someone's trademark, and
Mm-hmm.
doing it from that perspective is it's just such a spark went off. So I'm excited to look into that
Yeah.
some more. But that's a really good idea too.
Okay, real quick. If you've been showing up on socials and still not getting the results you want, I want you to listen up because I'm offering free social media audits exclusively for my side hustler listeners. If you're not sure if your page is actually attracting the right clients or if your content feels all over the place, or you just want to make sure that you're on the right track when it comes to building your brand, I got you. These audits are where I go in and I look at your page and I give you the personalized feedback on what's working, what needs to shift, and how to start creating content that actually converts. I'll also drop a few tips and strategies that most people aren't sharing because I want to see you win. And the best part about it, it's free, my friend. So head over to cdcreativecoagency.com/audit and secure your audit today. Yeah. And then even when it comes to like, even with your law tutorials, how do you pronounce it?
Yeah, exactly that.
Okay.
Lottery.
So
Yeah.
even with that, like, what does it look like when you are working with the client to help them to pass their bar exam, because that's what typical, students that are going to encounter this journey of taking their bar, they want to see. Like, it's one thing where you can talk about how good you are, but then we can actually see you like working with people, or maybe you're like, today, I don't know how you structure your services, but maybe you're on a Zoom call and you're talking about, different law cases or how to prepare with the test prep. So even that, like that could be really good content where you're showcasing your potential students that are looking for someone, this is how I conduct these services, or this is how we have our tutoring sessions. And this is what you can expect. In today's tutoring session, I'm working with so and so. You don't have to say their name, or you can give them a fake name, but you're just talking about, okay, we dove deep into, da 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 da. And if you're struggling with studying for your bar exam, click the link in my bio to book a call, so that way we can move forward, or I can tutor you, or I can help you to, become this stellar award-winning attorney. Like,
right. And you know what? This reminds me of what you do with your company. I really enjoy, and maybe I'm nosy too. I love seeing like how you have the setup. So when I come to Houston, I already envisioned what a content day with you is going to look like, because I've got to see how you do it with your clients, how much fun it looks like, how much ease. So I'm like, okay, when it's my turn, when I fly over there, this is what it's going to be like. It gives me something to think about or look forward to in working with you in your space. So
exactly.
that I just thought of that too. I love it.
Exactly. And that's the whole point. You see, and
Yeah.
so like even and I love when people tell me that. Like when people will comment or send me DMs like, "Oh my gosh, I can't wait to work with you because of those pieces of content." Is
Yeah.
because you're really giving them insight on like where they can put themselves in your client's shoes and see themselves, working with you. And so I just feel like that's one piece of content that a lot of people don't think about, always capturing, but it's such like chef's kiss because it just gives you the insight, but then also like they can experience it with you. So yeah, definitely tap in not only for, your services, but also for your law students that you work with.
Okay.
Let's see. Another thing I wanted to talk about was also your pin post. So I kind of hit on that. But one thing that I really, really want you to utilize your pin post for is really just like, I know that one thing you have like a freebie. You have a lot of different freebies actually.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so that is one way that you're gonna be able to start capturing leads, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, someone's trying to figure out, maybe they just want to, scope you out before they actually book a discovery call. They want to see how, what your personality is like, or what it's like what kind of information that send out to people that are on your mailing list. And so one of your pin posts that I would love for you to have is one of your freebies.
Okay.
Think about a freebie that will give your client like a quick win, something that they can do in a week or in a couple of days. Maybe you're teaching them how to like, find trademarks, or, how to buy someone's trademark whenever they're not using it, or something like that,
Yeah.
where you're just giving them a quick win, but then it also segues into your services. So it's like a quick win, but also like you're still going to need me type thing. And so if you go onto my page, like I have a couple. So I have one where it sends them to like content locations in Houston. So people are always asking like, where do I shoot my content in Houston? So I
Yeah.
have a free guide that not only has paid locations, but it also has free locations. But then when they opt into that lead magnet, when they get on there, they also get like a series of emails. So it's like, hey, here's your free guide of the content locations. But then like 2 days later, it's like, hey girl, like my name's Carly and you need me to help you shoot your content. You already found your location, but you're going to need somebody to help you be behind that camera. Let me support you type thing.
Right.
Or then it'll also show like, different, what is it? Whenever I've worked with clients, like what people say about working with me. I have an email in that sequence that also like addresses like different pain points. Like, hey, is this you? Do you struggle with consistency? Do you struggle with, having high quality content? Well,
Yeah.
I'm your obvious solution. And so if you absolutely capitalize on your mailing list to capture leads, but then also to nurture them, that will kind of push them into your services. So you can do one for your trademarking services, and then you can also do one for your other business as well.
Okay. I love it.
Do you send out like emails? No.
No, and I have a friend who's always like, "You have an email list. Why do
Yeah.
I never get emails from you unless it's like a personal email?" I'm like,
yeah.
Good question.
I answer my own question because I'm like, if you did, I feel like I would get one.
Yes, yeah. And when you were saying the whole marketing, the mailing list and the email sequences, all I was thinking was, oh yeah, another thing I need to get into. So I have the list, I have the platforms. So I just need to sit down, really just structure it so I can automate it and just have it doing the
have
work
it
for
going.
me.
Yep. Have it flowing in the background. And that's one way I feel like I get one of the best like quality of leads, because not only does it allow people to kind of get a free resource, but it also allows them to like gauge who I am and what I do.
Yeah.
And, whenever I'm writing my emails, like I put a lot of personality into it.
I was
It's
just
like,
about to say that. Like I can feel you in the emails. Like I can feel
yes.
you. I can feel your energy. Yeah. You definitely don't come across as just one of those emails where you're just like reading through. Like I can hear you like literally reading the email to me. So yeah, I get it.
No, I feel like and that's the thing, like I feel like you're so knowledgeable and you know so much. And I just feel like if someone can like gauge your personality and they get this research from you, or you're just sharing, like for instance, the BOI, like, nobody knew what that was, but you were like, hey, this is important enough for me to hop on camera and tell y'all about it. But only a certain percentage of people, saw that piece of content because the algorithm is so unpredictable. And so imagine if you could take that content, put it in an email and send it to your entire mailing list, who will all get all of your content versus just relying on that one avenue. So I definitely want to see you in my emails.
I'll be there. Just maybe give me like a week or so and I'll make my way there. But I'm on my way. Don't worry.
Definitely. I'll give you to the end of June. I'm like, by the end of June, I should at least have one email from you.
I can do that. I'll be,
No, that sounds good. And then the last thing that I wanted to hit on was hashtags. I feel like a lot of people think that hashtags are outdated and they don't work, but it's actually not outdated because hashtags are also a part of the search engine. So if you could utilize your hashtags to work for you by using hashtags, hashtag business attorney, hashtag trademark attorney, things of that sort. So that way, when people are searching for your services, your content can appear in the search engine, and then it pushes people to go to your page and follow you, and then get on your mailing list, and then you can stay in communication with them that way. So yeah, I think that's all I had. I know that was a lot.
I have a full page of notes, and do you know what? I think this has like sparked the accountability in me. Like I need to get it done. I know, but then little things that I don't even realize, like the pinned posts. I just picked 3 when I found the feature. I just picked 3 random ones, like the copyright versus trademark law one. Every time I go on my page, I kind of ask myself, like, why is this one here of all the ones? It's just, it's the random slide. But I just laugh it off and keep it moving. So I've never thought about how I can utilize that as a resource.
Yeah.
Even the things like the highlights. I know my highlights have been like old and just sitting there. I don't even want to go through them and see what's there right now. So having that cleaned up are things that I need to, now they're like top of mind. Hearing it from an expert makes me think like, okay, yes, need to get it done. So I'm very excited to get to work. And if for anyone who's listening, however, many weeks away this is, it will be done. So you're not going to get to see this old page that she speaks of. Okay, you'll see the new and improved page with consistent content. I like the 2 to 3 a week. It's very doable. I don't need to
Mhm.
do. There was a time I was saying I need to post every day. When I couldn't post every day, then I just didn't post for like 6 months. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think just something doable. And you speak about this on the Side Hustler podcast too. So just plugs, just for anyone who hasn't listened to previous episodes to go back and listen because Carly gives all the tips. So yeah,
Yes.
I think I'm very excited. I'm very excited for it. Yeah, so thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. No, I'm super excited. I know that you will definitely implement these things. And then another thing I wanted to tell you is that even if you find yourself struggling with editing, like one of the, and this is a gem, I don't think I've shared this on the podcast, but if you struggle with editing, you can even find someone on like Upwork, Fiverr to
Mhm.
like batch edit all of your content for you. So if you're like one of those people that's sitting in a graveyard of content and you're like, first of all, let me just, take what I already have,
Yeah.
organize this in some folders and send it off to someone on Fiverr to edit it for me. Like that
Yeah.
would be a good place to start. So that way, whenever you get it back, then you could just schedule it in the Instagram scheduler and then it's just automatically going, pushing it out for you. So you don't really have to worry
Mm,
about it.
yeah.
And that was my second thing that I was going to talk about is utilizing the Instagram scheduler. So that's one thing that I live by. I like to
Okay.
schedule, like when I have a bunch of edited content, I'll
Mhm.
just go in the Instagram scheduler, which is actually in Instagram. You don't have to use any third party apps, but I will go in and schedule my posts, to go out every other day or every, however often days at the same time. So I don't have to worry about it. So that way I know like at 9 a.m., on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm going to have something hit the feed because I scheduled
Yeah.
it. And then that way you don't have to worry about being consistent, but then you don't also have to be like, oh crap, like I forgot to post something today.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, those are my two little gems that
I
I
love
only share
it.
here on the podcast for all the people that are listening, because that's what I feel like helped me out whenever I have a lot of stuff going on. Like even when I don't have time to edit my own content, I have
Mhm.
no problem sending it off to somebody else. Like get somebody else to do it,
Right, exactly. Oh, awesome. I love
Well,
it.
this has been absolutely lovely, and I am so excited to see you in all of the things that you do on socials. Did you
Thank
have any
you.
other questions before we go?
Just a very quick one.
Mhm,
One thing I've noticed in like my content, like the analysis, is that when I post content, I have some followers, a bunch, maybe friends and family who have nothing to do with law, and
mhm,
the content that performs well is like when I'm giving like life updates that maybe don't relate to law so much. And I have
mhm.
like maybe I wanted to do like weekly recaps. I didn't really know how to format it, but do you think I should still find ways to put that in for as well as part of my content, even if it's not
Yeah.
strictly law?
Yeah. So that's another thing that I forgot to talk about. So I like to think of like my content as like this pie chart. So most of the time, like 50% of the time is going to be like, branded type of content. Like I'm talking about, content. I'm talking about, my service, or
Mhm.
it's educational type content. And
Yeah.
then you have the 25% that's kind of like behind the scenes or like day in the life, or something that's just like giving them behind the scenes of my business. And then the
Mhm.
other 25% is something that's like completely unrelated to my brand. It's like,
Mhm.
if I'm going to go pick flowers, or, I'm spending the day with my kid, or,
Yeah.
I'm traveling or something, because people also want to see that you're a real human, and they want to be able to find different ways where they can connect with you. Oh, she likes flowers. Oh, she goes to Orange Theory. That's, been
Yeah.
my thing recently. And so like I think that it's important to not only share like everything business, but you also want to give your audience a glimpse of whatever it is that you're comfortable with sharing that's a little bit more unrelated to business. So,
Okay.
if you want to share like, your weekly recaps where you're like, okay, in this week, I went to a new coffee shop and I
Mhm.
traveled here. Like that's exciting. So
Yeah.
I think that if you share like glimpse of your life, but not to the point where it's like everything we see is all personal and no business. I think that's when people go wrong. So
Right.
I like to say 50, 25, 25.
50, 25. Got it. Thank you. That's really useful.
Did you have any other questions?
No, I think I'm good. I'm set. I have all the notes. Some of my I would show you, but it's a little bit scribbly. But yeah, no, I'm actually excited. So I really appreciate it and all the expertise. I'm really grateful. So thank you.
Yes, of course. And I'm so excited to have you again on the podcast. And thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you for everything you do, and thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Side Hustler podcast. I hope you're leaving here today feeling inspired and ready to take your next step. If you love this episode, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with another side hustler who needs to hear it. And don't forget to connect with us on Instagram at Carly Dorlin. I'd love to hear about your side hustling journey. Remember, you're doing better than you think, and your dreams are so worth it. Until next time, keep hustling, sis. You got this.